All right, ladies and gentlemen, the easiest way to make $1 million plus in 2024 and 25 guaranteed. I am General Greene, of course. We are here in beautiful Bali. Booyah. It's time to bug out. It's time to buy international property here in Bali. You probably saw my last video. Absolutely incredible day. Helicopter tours across the island. Saw some of the very well-known temples. Really cool, really beautiful, catching amazing weather. The weather is just like Maui. We're like in the 85-degree range, no humidity. Sun is out every day. We even had a full moon 2 nights ago. Absolutely gorgeous. But in today's video, like and share, I'm going to reveal how to make your first $1 million plus the easiest way possible in 2024 and 2025. So please like and share. Let's talk about what's going on in the news here first. So it looks like RFK Jr. is now finally endorsing Donald Trump. That's actually a big win for MAGA, a big win for Donald Trump. I think that'll do a lot to embolden his chances of winning. We have the DNC conference occurring right now as well. We've seen Michelle Obama, it looks like Barack Obama, I didn't watch the speech, speak. Oprah made a surprise appearance. I'm not sure if The Rock is speaking. I've said that he's a presidential candidate possibility in the future as well. We, of course, see the Kamala and Waltz team now, which is really curious because a lot of you don't know that the vice presidential pick for the DNC or the Democratic Party, a lot of people fear is actually a commie. He spent most of his time in China. I think he's made like at least 5 visits, maybe a dozen. I think he got married there too. And in addition to that, I think spent a year teaching in communist CCP China. This has a lot of Americans worried because, of course, we see what's happening in the United States, which I want to talk about today and then offer solutions on what you can do with just less than 90 days before the presidential election, how you can guarantee your success. And I also just want you to think about the fact that I believe we're in the period of time of end times right now where Americans, but basically mostly people in the West, but worldwide, I think we're seeing this to some degree, their hearts are growing cold. Their hearts are growing cold because of the dissolution of the system, the failure of the system, the heartache and the pain and the suffering that we're seeing across Western nation states. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's Matthew 24, but it talks about basically a heart of sorrows. The fact that even good men, good women out there, we're all guilty of this, myself included, and I have to remind myself of this constantly, that, you know, as things get bad and we see the degrade of society and we see people like in depression and anxiety and all these kinds of things, we can't succumb to that. As leaders, as examples, as businessmen, as businesswomen. Now, I believe that people's hearts are growing cold because, well, we're in end times. And as people see more political vitriol, more hate, more division, all being orchestrated, of course, by the mainstream media, by your politicians, by the technology you're using. I mean, I would argue that social media, outside of maybe business opportunities, which is what you should be using it for, and I'm going to reveal to you how to make your first $1 million today if you haven't already, outside of that, there's really not a use case for it. Most of the technology just incites division, anger, and provides control to the state, which is why the internet was released by DARPA in the first place. Again, the internet is a DARPA creation because it's basically the NSA weaponizing technology to bring it into the mainstream and then using these giant entities, we all know who they are, the big socials, to essentially bring people in willingly into the surveillance system, into the police state, into the control grid, into basically into Hunger Games and the worst nightmare. Now, I just posted this on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. By the way, we have been officially verified on Facebook. That's really good news. So congratulations to everybody tuning in. That will help with impersonators. Again, we'll never DM you. You can only contact us direct and speak with my actual father. Have any questions, just always give them a call, 808-442-2934, or text them. That's the only way to contact us regarding islandproject.com or anything else that we're doing. We'll never DM you. We're not going to reach out. And if you ever see a comment, unless it now has a blue check mark, it's not us. Just, be vigilant out there. Keep in mind, I'm a public figure, and we have a lot of impersonators out there that are not us. Just to give you guys that full disclosure there. But I did write this earlier today, and we're going to talk about this because I believe that countries, just like businesses, should compete for all y'all's business. So should countries. I believe that the American people should have a choice regarding their freedom. I believe if they don't like the options currently presented to them, then they should just build something new. See, I believe in the founding fathers. I believe in the establishment of the 13 colonies, 13 decentralized freedom organizations, essentially, that were built with the idea and principles of liberty, freedom, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. I believe in 1776 and the Revolution for a reason, because the idea of setting up America was to flee a king, flee 1% taxation, to free from themselves from tyranny. They're free to worship their own religion, freedom of speech, etc. But here's my question for all you tuning in. I'm going to read this to you in a minute. If you no longer have that, if it's deteriorating, and I'll speak about kind of what I penned earlier, if you barely have free speech left in America, which is the case now, okay, which I predicted and told you would happen 20 years ago. If you barely have that, if the Second Amendment is hanging on by a thread, thankfully we still have it, but if it's barely there, they're trying to get rid of it. If capitalism is eroded, degraded, it's turned criminal and crony, if that doesn't exist anymore, if upward mobility has stopped in the United States of America, you're not getting any kind of value for your taxes or your money. Okay, there's no social safety net. Your infrastructure's collapsing. The cities suck. People are drug addicts all over the streets. The veterans don't get the care they need. Your U.S. politicians debate gender politics more than they do cleaning up our cities, rebuilding infrastructure, providing value to actually real Americans, providing them with health care and these kinds of things. Then my question to you is, what are you getting? What are you receiving? And why aren't you allowing other countries to compete for your business and your dollars? Because I believe that they should. I believe that where things are going is that countries will have to compete for your business, just like what islandproject.com is doing. We're a decentralized country, is what we are, should compete for your dollars. Now, I give you countless examples of this. I mean, I just made a payment for $10,000 for health insurance. That was my 2-month premium for a party of 5. 10 grand. We're not using any doctors. We haven't been to the doctors. We don't get any care. We do not comply to any of the things that they tell us to do. I can't even remember the last time I've been to a doctor. I'm healthier than a horse. 10K for a regular, normal family, self-employed, with no care really at all, no benefits, and that's just par for the course in the United States. Sometimes I will read comments and people will say, well, it's easy for you, Christopher, you're overseas, and we see that you're successful, yada, yada, yada. Well, what you don't understand is there's a ton more value overseas. It's 1/10 as expensive overseas than it is the United States. And that's the question I'm bringing to all y'all today. If you receive no value, you're getting nothing in return. Your ability to rise in the United States is declined. There's no upward mobility. You receive nothing for the taxation. Your cities are crumbling. Homelessness is on the rise. You have no borders. There is no global stability or peace. There's no peace in your nation state. There's division, there's vitriol, there's hate, there's chaos, there's open borders. My question to you is, why are you not allowing other corporations, you do this with companies and businesses, actually compete for your business? Because what I see is a common thinking individual, and I think a lot of you see this as well. I see a country that no longer is doing the things that it was founded for. Again, American freedom was founded over, freedom from taxation. American freedom was founded over freedom of speech, which we barely have anymore. American freedom was founded over, well, okay, if we're going to pay something into the system, we should actually get something in return. And I keep harping on this and telling you as I visit other countries, you'll notice, the first thing you notice as you go overseas is generally people are like happy with wherever position that they're in. And the reason for that is they're actually taken care of by the system a little bit more than what we're currently getting in America. Now, I'm a capitalist. I'm for capitalism. I'm a blatant capitalist. Okay, get rich, become a billionaire, become a trillionaire, dominate, be an entrepreneur. That's what I believe in. It's the best system. But you don't have capitalism in the United States and America anymore. And this is what you need to understand. It ended in 2008 and 2009. Once the too big to fail multi-trillion-dollar TARP bailout funds came in 2008-09, they got rid of that. So there is no capitalism. There's crony, malicious, malevolent, criminal capitalism. Now, the odds are against you. Just like Hunger Games. Let the odds forever be in your favor. They're really telling you and selling to you that you're going to die in the field as they put you out there in Hunger Games and you're hunted. That's basically the position that the American people are in now. They get no value or very little for their investment. They get no return. They get no peace, no stability, no organized society, no morals, no borders, no infrastructure, crumbling cities, drug addicts, unsafety, corrupt politicians, and they get an entertainment and a WWE show. They don't get anything in return. And so maybe I don't have to read you the long pinned letter that I penned. You can read it on your own. But my question is, at the very least, you should all be diversifying your interests. Okay, you should be moving into new technology, solutions, and infrastructure that's actually working, that's doing something positive to impact your life. For example, if you graduate college, you're in debt, you've got $200,000 in student loans. Even if you get a good job, you're making $150,000 a year, good luck to you, you're never going to own a house. Okay, you're going to need at least $1 million to buy a house in the United States of America because of the debt, because of the Ponzi scheme of the central bank, because of the bailouts, because of the PPP loans, because of the lockdowns, because of 2008 and 09, because of TARP, and because of criminal Wall Street and the central banks that have no governance, there's no vote, you don't elect, they do whatever they want, and both parties and both politicians across the aisles spend ungodly amounts of currency, backed by nothing, not by gold, not by Bitcoin, not by land, and they print it into infinitum. Now, we saw this, of course, with the collapse of Rome. Rome collapsed because they could no longer afford the infrastructure, they could no longer afford their wars, they could no longer afford the expansion. Okay, so eventually Rome collapsed. We saw this in the UK with the British pound not too long ago. George Soros bet against it. He became a multi-billionaire. The UK, it just, ran out of money, or England, they ran out of money. Essentially, the British pound, they didn't have any currency left. They had eroded it. They clipped their coins, so it eventually collapsed. Now that's happening in the United States. The United States, which does not take care of its own people, does not help our veterans at all, does not restrict the borders and entrance into the borders, does not create a peaceful and harmonious culture at all, does not breed unity, hope, peace, or love, does the opposite, breeds vitriol, destruction, BLM riots, gender dogma, okay, and a whole host of other issues we're not allowed to talk about, ushers in hyperinflation, destruction of the dollar, trillions of dollars worth of debt, like again, and it's all by design. They're doing nothing to help you and your family at all, nothing to help you all to get ahead. It doesn't increase your ability to earn income. It doesn't generate any more wealth. It doesn't generate peace of mind, which I actually think is the most important. Like, as I visit multiple other countries outside of the American ecosystem, the first thing I noticed is, in general, people seem to be a lot more of peace of mind. And again, I've been talking to family members of this. Why is that? It's because, in general, they're actually a lot more taken care of. Their basic needs are actually met by the state. Now, I'm not putting socialism or anything like that. I completely disagree with that. That's not a good system. Capitalism is. The only point I'm making is we don't have capitalism in the United States. Again, crony, criminal, too big to fail, bailout capitalism is not capitalism. It's oligarchical control by elitists that are stealing your money and printing debt, bankrupting all of you and transferring all the wealth to themselves. And I think a lot of you don't understand this. Again, as you follow me overseas, a lot of you are in this very self-defeatist mentality where you don't think you can get ahead. Many of you don't believe you can even make $1 million. And I'll tell you, you never will, because you don't believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. The first thing you need to do if you want to make your first $1 million is actually believe you can make $1 million. That's not a lot of money nowadays. $1 million is like $100,000 nowadays. You can barely even buy a crappy house in the United States of America with $1 million, unless you're going off grid or something and you're going out into the middle of the country. So again, it's a mindset shift. But what you also don't understand is the quality of life, the standard of living is 10x overseas than what it is in the United States. And so I want you to think about this for a minute. Why are Americans participating in a rigged system that Donald Trump even tells you is rigged? A corrupt system, which both parties tell you are corrupt. A system that offers no value, no infrastructure, no borders, no protection of currency, now declining upward mobility, limiting speech in the United States, which is currently happening. I mean, I can barely say what I want to say now, and I've been doing this 20 years. I used to say whatever I wanted online. Now I have to, be very careful what I say, because again, everything that America once was or stood for is dead. It no longer exists. Again, I'm a millionaire, so I can afford $10,000 healthcare payments. Can you? But again, I question why I even pay them. It's like I'm not even using it. We haven't even used it. Why do I need to pay 10 grand for healthcare when I don't even get it? When I'm not even allowed to use it. In 2020, they didn't even want me to use the system. I wasn't even allowed to use it because I didn't comply. But we're still paying into it makes no sense at all. So, not to focus on the negative, we're here to focus on the positive. What do you do in a situation like that? You allow other countries to compete for your business. You let other businesses to compete for your business. You vote with your wallets. You boycott what is hurting you. You remove, which offers no value or return on investment. You build new solutions and creative ideas. You organize communities and like minds and infrastructure that actually does serve you. And this is exactly what we've done with islandproject.com. We've created the first independent freedom liberty network in the world, $33.5 million with no bank debt. We own 10 to 12 properties, beach and oceanfront, Maui, Oahu, Park City, now international diversification. It's going to be tokenized on a multi-billion-dollar blockchain. It's true 100% equity ownership, which means all of our owners and all of our members with 30 units minimum get all the capital gains. They get all the income distributions on an annual basis. The properties are managed professionally by myself and my team. We only make money if we make money, by the way. See our terms and disclaimers. I intend to tokenize. There is also some use based on tiers of the investment, and we have formed our own independent solution, our ecosystem where you can travel worldwide across multiple flagships. We're winning constantly because the guarantee is hyperinflation is here to stay. It's a guarantee. Hyperinflation is going to continue. The banks are going to print more debt. There's going to be more bailouts. They're going to cut more interest rates. The next president of the United States is going to spend trillions and trillions and trillions of more of worthless dollars that are not backed by anything. It's a guarantee. Just like in recent years, we've seen property values, rents, healthcare, food, water, air, travel, clothing, the list goes on and on. Even Rolexes continue to skyrocket continuously because that's the program. But here's the question. Why aren't you profiting? Why aren't you getting rich? Why aren't you organizing? Why aren't you voting with your wallet? Why aren't you removing your money from the system into something that's actually going to work for you? Why aren't you building a legacy for you and your children? Why are you not taking some tax advantages to rolling over your 401k and retirement account? Speak with the CPA, but contact my father, 808-442-2934. Why aren't you living your best life? Why aren't you building the new 1776 America? And why aren't you more organized? Now, of course, most of you are. We have now thousands of members worldwide across now 16 countries around the world. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Fiji, across most of the states in the United States. Texas is our biggest state. We have people literally from, almost a good portion of Eurozone countries now. A lot of countries that are a little bit more rare. I mean, again, America has always been an idea. You go back to even the, like the time of John Proctor and the Crucible. And they're basically setting up Puritanism in the United States, and they've fled complete tyranny. And they had to revert back to what was like very much kind of stronghold Christianity, because things had gotten so bad, they almost went to the extreme on the other side. They start burning witches and stuff. Like, we're kind of at that point. I mean, do you not agree with me? Like, these are things I have to remind myself of. I'm just being honest. I've never seen social media this vitriolic. I've never seen the mainstream media so hateful. I've never seen so many attacks on individuals, political figures, media personalities, politicians, celebrity, like the list goes on and on. I've never seen people in this much chaos, which proves the point that the system isn't working for you. It's kind of like being in a bad marriage. You're married to the United States of America, but she's cheating on you. She sucks. She never puts dinner on the table. She hates your guts. She's going out on a Friday night, making you look like a fool. She does not put her husband and children first. Okay, she's not a good person, and she's on drugs. And she's abusive. That's kind of like what the United States of America and our relationship with her is now. No morals, no loyalty, no love, no hope for the future, destruction. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm just using that as an example. But that's kind of like the relationship that the average American is in. And my question to you is, why are you putting up with it? Why are you not getting rich? Why are you not organizing? Why aren't you not building the new 1776 along with us? Why haven't you removed your money from the banks yet? Why aren't you invested in Bitcoin and crypto along with us? Why aren't you tokenizing real estate? Why aren't you getting in and taking advantage of technology like we're doing here at islandproject.com? Why haven't you called my father? Why are you submitting to an abusive relationship, Babylon's whore, that is destroying all of your life? Why are you getting nothing in return from your state and your governments and your politician and your leaderships and your Hollywood and your music industry and the fake celebrities and the hate and division that they're orchestrating and organizing in the USSSA? Why? And so that's our motivation today. So again, I penned a whole letter on this. You guys can read it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter as well at AMTV Media. We've been verified on that, and also on, what was it? I'm posting a lot more content on Insta. So on the Instagram, make sure you check me out there. So the easiest way to make $1 million in 2024-25, now, before even the election, is to harness new technology, like minds, communities on the cutting edge. You need to be learning about blockchain, investing in Bitcoin, getting into real assets at islandproject.com. You need to be in the next 1000x. Bitcoin's not going to 1000x from its current valuation. It's trading too high. It's trading over $1 trillion. I recommended it under $1,000. That was the time to get in. That's where the real money was to be made. You have to be looking at opportunities that can 10x, 30x minimum, 100x, maybe 1000x if you play your cards right. You don't want to go to a casino because the tables are rigged against you. The tables are turned against the person playing the hand. You want to be competing outside of the system where there's no competition. This is what I'm telling you. There's no competition in the Lamborghini and Rolex that is islandproject.com. There is no competition with fractional real estate right now because we're the first and only people to successfully pull it off in the world. There is no competition with what we have built with the digital Noah's Ark yet, but there will be in the future. After that happens, the 1000x gains will be long gone. You'll miss them. Now, we've designed islandproject.com along with my team and my father, of course. See our terms and disclaimers, not available to the public. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, read all that. I have to say that. Etc. Have designed, even without tokenization, a multi-$100 million portfolio. A lot of you don't know this as well, but our blockchain will actually hold precious metals, gold and silver, in decentralized vaults worldwide as a small percentage of our asset class. Not just real estate with no bank debt, but also commodities. We've already designed it that way. Very few of you have actually inquired, and you don't even understand what we have built. You don't get and understand that 30 units minimum, 30 grand, makes you a true 100% equity owner of the best real estate in the world in Oahu, Maui, Kaanapali, Waikiki, Park City, Deer Valley, now soon to be internationalized. You don't understand that you can actually use your own investment, that it's outside of the banks in a private ecosystem that is yet to 1000x. That our founders round is a world exclusive event that will never happen again. You have no idea. I have millionaires already in islandproject.com because you're late to the party. You're allowing this Babylonic whore to abuse you and your families and destroy your currency and country, and you're complying to a system that hates your guts, where you're going to guaranteed lose when you could be winning along with us. You could be getting ahead in improving your life. You could be 1000xing with no bank debt real estate. You could be tokenizing your 30 units minimum. You could be staying at your own properties as part of our ecosystem and our blockchain flagships that are now soon to be expanding worldwide, which is why I'm overseas. And you will see the second you exit the United States, and at the very least dip your toe in the water, you'll see not only is the price of everything 1/10 the United States, but in addition to that, the value is 100x what you're currently receiving in a failed country that is the United States. Now, I believe in the United States. I think it can be turned around. We haven't given up. We never give up. We are the real patriots and the 1776 revolutionaries, by the way. We're the ones building and sustaining America. We actually have a real solution in the private sector. We're not politicians telling you what you want to hear. My dad and I aren't on a political soapbox just telling you what you want to hear and then taking money from donors. We are independently financed by ourselves and thousands of world record-breaking members worldwide. No one owns us like a politician is owned by lobbyists and multinational corporations. We've turned down tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars from outside interests, from the BlackRocks and the Fidelities and the Vanguards and the State Streets that have already wanted to buy our portfolio. We have told them to F off and take a hike. You will never steal our freedom. We are the America. We are 1776. We are the revolutionaries. We are the freedom fighters. We are the fighters for God. We are the freedom. And so you must understand that in order to get ahead, you have to not be playing the old systems game that is a fake rigged casino weaponized against you, and you need to get outside of it. I did the same thing with Bitcoin years ago. No one wanted to own it. No one wanted to learn about it. No one wanted to buy it. It was the Wild West. Because again, it was a new game and a new system where it was easy to make money. And we're doing the same thing with now the Rolex of real estate. Each property owns 3 to 5 million plus, $33.5 million portfolio. No bank debt. We're diversified in multiple states, soon to be countries. Because we ain't playing their game. We're winning in a new game, in a new system that very few people even understand or even know how to negotiate or what to do. And they don't even know what bits and Bitcoin is because they're not educated until it's too late. There's a reason why BlackRock and all these companies are moving in now. It's why they're buying Bitcoin, securitizing it, launching ETFs, exchange-traded funds, because they're getting everything prepped for the big transition into the new economic powerhouse system, which all of our members are going to profit from because it's a guarantee. This is what you don't understand. Economic collapse is hyperinflation. I'm sure many of you have noticed your housing costs are up. Your rents are up. Your food prices are up. Clothing is up. Travel is up. Healthcare is up. You get very little in return for very high prices. Well, that's how they steal your wealth. That's how they beat you at the casino. That's how they make the Americans lose. I'm telling you to win and play a whole different game. So here's how you go completely 1000x this year. Islandproject.com, in my opinion, I have to say it's my opinion, not financial advice, is a guaranteed minimum 30x. Guaranteed. And the reason is, and this is even minus tokenization, our core asset is the best asset in the world professionally managed. It doesn't have any leverage and it doesn't have any debt, which essentially, I can't say it's risk-free, but there's very little risk. Because again, hyperinflation is here. We know they're going to print more debt. Do you not agree with that? Do you not agree that more debt will be printed in the United States? It guarantees our portfolio continues to skyrocket, especially in the best locations. And so even a 30x on 30K will make you a millionaire as a part of our basic level, entry level membership, which most of my members have at least 150, 250K, if not $1 million in Island Project. Like 30K is bare minimum. Like you can't even buy a new car for under 70K, and it's going to break down, depreciate, provide no income, no equity, break down. A new Ford F-250. Well, I love F-250s. I will never drive an electric car. Man, you get one of those loaded, it'll be 100K. Be probably like 120 grand. And I hear a bunch of complainers out there all the time like, oh, 30K is steep. Like, dude, you can't even buy a house in the United States of America without $500,000 now, or $1 million. You can't afford crap. Health insurance is annual salaries. As I gave you an example, I mean, I'm self-employed, so I have to pay, again, I get nothing from the government. I've never received anything from the government, never gotten a bailout. I never would take one, even if they offered. Refused all the PPP loans. I get zero Social Security, zero health care, zero medical care. I get nothing. The only thing I've ever gotten from the United States is a giant screw in the back of the behind. Quite frankly, I've never gotten anything. The only thing I've gotten is the lockdowns in 2020 and, fear-mongering and wars that I'm paying for. I mean, I'm paying for Ukraine's war right now, which I approve of, and we're actually losing. And I predicted and told you we would lose. Like, I don't know about you. I've got nothing. Ever. Have you? Some of the baby boomers are still running on fumes of the collapsing empire, but I'm telling you that's coming to an end. The inflation is hurting your actual, even passive income you're getting from the government. Like, even if you're getting like, $3,000 a month or whatever, that's cut in half now with the inflation skyrocketing every year. What's inflation right now? 50% a year annually? In some cases, it hasn't gone down. It's not going to go down when they cut interest rates. That'll make money even easier, for crying out loud. Again, the future of money, technology, your success, your wealth, making your first $1 million and a whole heck of a lot more, you should set your sights a lot higher than that, is with a change in mindset and playing a whole different game that's not where the odds aren't stacked against you. Something that's new and fresh, that is unique, that is inventive and innovative, just like the founding fathers invented the 13 colonies and established 13 decentralized, independent, autonomous units that largely govern themselves, just like the states. The states govern themselves. It's one of the few things that we still have left in the United States of America, is that each state, like Texas and Florida, can do what it wants. It could break off. It can secede. It can, tell the federal government no. But it's getting harder and harder and harder and harder. So I really want you to think about this, in terms of getting ahead in your life. Like, what are you doing if you're playing by the fake system and the rules that are guaranteed to screw you? I tell young kids this all the time too. They're like, Chris, how can I make my first 6 figures? Well, don't go to college. Don't get a normal job. Don't get the same degree that everyone else is doing. Become an entrepreneur and you'll make your first 100K pretty darn easily. Because again, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, if you're biting into the system, betting on the system, the same thing everyone else is doing, you're guaranteed to fail. That's why most people are broke. Most people aren't millionaires. Most people aren't ahead. Most people aren't where they want in life. And now, because the system has been engineered against all of you, And they've weaponized so much hate and vitriol and disgust and lack of morals and lack of family values and politicking and all this kind of stuff. Now we're at the point where it's disillusioning Americans so much that they're like turning against each other. But here's what blows my mind. They won't fight the people that are really hurting them. And I'm telling you who these people are and how to fight back. I see more honest, good, God-fearing Americans turning on their fellow neighbor more, which they shouldn't be doing, than they are fighting the actual culprit, destroying their lives and their family and their hopes and dreams. It blows my mind. I see this all the time. I'm telling you to be smarter. I'm telling you exactly how to organize. We've built the exact foolproof 1000X solution. We've already freaking built it, the digital Noah's Ark. Get in with us, join like minds, become a part of our unique private ecosystem outside of governments, outside of sovereign nation states, harnessing new technology, playing a whole different game in a whole new world. Now, eventually in the future, it'll all be consolidated. BlackRock, State Street, Fidelity, all these companies, Vanguard are all going to move in, and we're going to profit from it. Just like the internet, just like Bitcoin. I told all y'all that Bitcoin would go mainstream. BlackRock would start buying it. Politicians would endorse it. I told you that they were either dumb or lying to you, and I was proven correct. Now, Bitcoin trades on Wall Street, and it's an actual security. Because again, it's very easy to predict and see where all this is going. So, to make $1 million this year is not hard. Number one, it's a mindset shift, and I can help you with that. Another benefit of joining us with your 30 units minimum. Let's book a call. Join, let's talk. I'll share with you. We can talk about, your life, how to position. You can become engaged into our personal network infrastructure and off to the races. Profit, pivot, build freedom, liberty, and let other companies and ideas compete for your business. And this is my point. The system, in my belief, is completely broken at this point. It can be repaired. America, I believe in, will be saved. I do believe that we win. I know Jesus Christ is coming back. And just like Noah had, blocks to build with, whatever was presented to him by God, just like David just had a simple slingshot and a couple little rocks or pebbles, just like Solomon, who's the gentleman in the Bible who pushed down the pillars? Help me with that. It's escaping me right now. Just like all of these historical figures had very little, they used the tools that they had in front of them. His name is going to come to me in a minute. Just kind of having a little brain fart there. Help me out. I can't really see in the sun. My point is, a lot of you are failing to use God's tools, the very little that he gave you. And instead of putting those little tools to work and leading with faith first and God forward and understanding that he's the final say on everything, he's the one that's going to open up the clouds and bring in the sunshine through the rain, that he's the one that offers the cure, the promotion at your job, that offers the success, that can improve your life, to do the things that the world can't. Instead of a lot of you having simple, honest, true, good faith and believing in God, you're believing more in the world, in the deception and the noise and the political atmosphere and the vitriol and the hate, and you're letting that consume you and blacken your heart, and you're not actually using what is true and honest and good and pure and letting God to clear the path for all of you. Again, I think about it all the time, and I was praying even last night, the secret to my success is, number one, God. And then the second thing is never quitting. And then the third is leading with faith. I mean, that's pretty much it. God, never quitting, action, and faith. That's it. But a lot more of you need to start acting harmoniously into that frame of a mindset. And you need to get with like minds. I think one of the disadvantages people have is they're not joined up with community leaders and community infrastructure like islandproject.com. So life is getting you guys down where you feel alone and segregated, which is exactly where the elites want you. They don't want you powerful. They don't want you a part of a community network. They don't want you to own the assets that we now own at islandproject.com. They don't want you in a private community of like minds. They don't want you with other Christians, brothers and sisters, and people that fear God. They don't want you with good people that have beautiful families and children and wives and husbands that actually aren't perfect, but are doing the best they can to succeed. They don't want you united. They want you destroyed. They want you disconnected. They want you segregated. They want you locked in your houses. They don't want to give you good food. They don't want you to make money. All these things. And so all I'm saying here is the messenger from a beautiful place in my heart, which is honestly the truth, is if you want to get ahead and you really want to save the United States, and you want to build a better life for yourself, and you want to go out there and live faith first in honor of God and service, not necessarily for your own self-glory, and you want to go kick some major butt, I'm telling you how to do it. The infrastructure that we have built at the Digital Noah's Ark truly is revolutionary. And you need to learn more about it if you haven't already, and you must onboard. Because it's the only opportunity in the world where we're playing a whole different game that hasn't even been invented yet, that's far easier with no competition, where a 30x is like nothing. 1,000x is going to be easy versus playing a rigged system in a rigged game where everything is geared so that you lose. So why? Why would people do that? And I've seen it firsthand because people told me for years, well, you know, what you're doing is so cutting edge, Christopher. I mean, that's a huge risk. No, it's not. It's what made me a millionaire. Because I'm playing in a field no one else is at. That will soon be the biggest trend in the world. See, that's the key, though. You don't want to be in something that's not going to be the future trend. Like when I started social media in 08 and 09, people didn't understand it, but that took over the world. Bitcoin, when I got into it, and I'm buying it under 1,000. Bro, like, that wasn't popular, but now it's the world establishment. And now that we're in tokenized real estate, a lot of people don't understand. They don't know what it is. But again, that'll be bigger than anything in the world in the next couple of years. So you want to get in early, long before the herd, long before things, increase into mainstream adoption. And you want to be getting into the game where there's no competition. And right now there's not competition, but there will be. Now, if you don't onboard islandproject.com now, and you're not funding immediately before the $33.5 million closes, you're not going to get in because I can't legally offer any more spots. So the way to onboard, to assure your success, assure your membership as a part of this amazing community, being connected with the infrastructure, the economy, all the people, use of your investment, all these amazing things, capital gains, income, tokenization, the list goes on and on, just improving your life and your mindset and motivation, all these things, you've got to fill an app out. You do that at islandproject.com. It's 5 minutes. There are a series of questions that we have to ask based on regulators. So don't think I'm trying to ask you too much information. I have to ask those questions because we filed 2 years ago, of course. Answer them to the best of your ability. And then when you're done, fund. ACH, wire transfer, crypto, debit, credit card, 30 units minimum. If you have any questions, just text or call my father, 808-442-2934. Get in. Change your life, change your mindset. First, make your first $1 million, 24-25. Do it before the U.S. election. Do it before Bitcoin, blockchain, crypto goes even more mainstream. Do it before the revolution in tokenized real-world assets and real estate, because that's all going mainstream. Before BlackRock owns all the Bitcoin. Before BlackRock owns all the real assets, all the commodities, all the gold, all the land, and all the beachfront, which they don't want you to own. Again, get ahead of it. See the solution and start thinking differently outside of the box and realizing that you have power. All of you do in a very significant way, and that power is not even going to come from yourself. It's going to come from your work ethic, your smarts, your moxie, your risk-taking, your faith, God first, forward mindset, but it comes from God. So, I always tell people, like, if you don't think it can happen, you're mocking Christ, the King. If you don't believe that the world can change or your life can change, you're actually mocking God. If you don't believe that you're capable of doing the things that you were meant to do, and be the example of the leader that God made you to be, you're actually, again, you're not faithful. Because all great leaders and all great historical figures, all great warriors, all great generals, all great prophets, all great disciples, everyone we read about in the Bible led first with faith, and that was pretty much their number one tool. So when I tell you how to get rich in 2024, 25, I'm telling you the truth. You lead with faith, and then you put in the work and the effort, and you never give up, and you will be rich, and you will guaranteed make your first $1 million this year, and you'll do it along with us at islandproject.com, but you got to believe in yourself, and I can't do it for you. I can help you with that. I will motivate you. I will show you how to do it. I lead by example every single day. We create our own communities, our own media. We buy our own investments. We create and build our own technology. We patent our own technology. We create our own infrastructure, our own membership. We literally have our own channel, our entire media apparatus I've built over 20 years. We do it. We don't wait around for anyone else to build it for us. We've done it. And I'll tell you this too, that anyone successful, any great leader, any great person will never tear you down. They'll only lift you up. A great businessman and entrepreneur would only ever encourage other people to start a business. It's only people that aren't living their lives that who they truly want to be that tear other people down and criticize other people or tell you you can't do something. Great leaders, like a billionaire is never going to tell you don't start a new business. Any billionaire, any successful man or woman will always be your biggest supporter and will root you on, like I do. I'm telling you, you guys can do this. You're going to crush it along with us this year. It's a freaking guarantee. But you have to change your mindset and get out of the system now and play in a whole new ball game. Again, Division I All-American over here. I played at a whole new level at a different mindset that most people never could engage in. It's almost like a spiritual thing. Like you get into a whole new area of technology or business or sports or spirituality or whatever it is. You're playing in a whole different like world compared to other people. There's no competition up there, ever. In everything that you're trying to attract in your life. Again, attract the things, and I'm not into like laws of attraction per se. I believe in God, but there's truth to it. Your spiritual energy that you put into the world, you get back in return 1,000 freaking X. So if you're allowing the cabal to control your mind, if you're getting sucked in by the hate and the vitriol and the rhetoric of Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and your political machine and the fake election and all these things, and you're just allowing that to consume you, man, they've got you right where they want you. They're going to destroy you and your families, all hope for the future. You're going to be unhealthier, more unsuccessful. You're not going to be living your best life. You're not going to get ahead. You're not going to have the things that you want, and you're going to lose. And that would be a tragedy because all of you out there deserve to win, not just in Christ, but by being the biggest, most awesome, creative, stewards, those in service, examples, lightning rods, leaders, warriors, freedom fighters, liberty lovers. That is where you should be. And we're a freaking army. So, we now have thousands of members worldwide. And we have millions of you that tune in every day and just tune into our media. Because again, I've been doing that 20 years. The secret to success is never quitting, leading with faith, and trusting God to open up the heavens, which I'm living proof of it. I'm living proof of it. Like, again, lead with faith, action, let God lead, put in that work, never give up, and you will have beyond your wildest dreams. And you don't even have to wait that long. That's a misconception too. Well, if I only put in the work for 40 years, it might take that long. For Moses, it took a long time. Moses was very tired. He's like, oh man, I'm out. How old am I now? 80? He's about to take a hike, and then God finally knocks on the door and is like, okay, you're ready now. He's like, what? I'm not ready now, I'm old. Again, God has his own plan for you in his own timing. So it could take long, but it might not. Simply by watching this video today, taking action, deploying your 30 units, become a millionaire in the next few months. With the right mindset, for many of you tuning in, no guarantees of that. Seen it happen before. Seen it happen in crypto all day long, all the time, man. How many times we made millions of dollars in cryptos that weren't even backed by anything? They just like literally just ideas. We actually have a real asset owned that actually produces income and cash flows and use and has actual technology and stuff, like, and an actual team behind it. That's what I always think is mind blowing. You got a bunch of people buying a bunch of cryptos and stuff that aren't even worth anything, that don't even do anything, that don't even own anything. And those are already sailing to billions of dollars. So again, the opportunity in life is short. Don't overestimate how much time you have. There's no guarantee you're even going to wake up tomorrow. So live big. Live big. Again, I tell you this all the time. Every day I wake up, and you know, people like to comment and everyone has their opinions, but every day I wake up and I'm like, man, if today was my last day on earth, what would I be doing? And it's exactly why I fly around in helicopters, travel the world, you know, go diamond nuts all in all my investments. I 1000x everything I do. I work my ass off. I put my heart, my love, my soul, my spirit, my joy, my happiness, my effort into my family, into my friends, my hopes, my dreams, my businesses. I don't let anyone bring me down, and I just spearhead. I'll even invent and create new technologies just because I have to, because no one else has thought of it. Because again, I ain't wasting time, man. I'm living my best life, and so should you guys. In glory of God, in service to the King. A small ripple, maybe is all it is, but turns into a tidal wave if there's enough of us. And we create epic, massive change before the glory of our King. And then he comes back and we destroy all evil. I mean, dude, that's the big 1000x. The freaking 1000x is the rapture. But I ain't wasting time while I'm here, because I'm going to be judged, man. I'm kicking ass for the glory of the King and Jesus Christ. You should be too. Pray for all of you today. I'll just end in prayer. Dear God, I pray for this audience. Pray for this beautiful community. The Island Project, all of our members, our subscribers, everyone that tunes in, millions of people around the world. We pray for everybody's success. We pray for their mindset shift. We pray that they will vote with their actual feet, their wallets, their minds, their spirit, and their prayers in the right direction, that they would not be consumed by vitriol and hate and division, which is currently being promoted in the United States, that they wouldn't succumb to the destabilization instead, that they would unite meaningfully, that we would be your rock and foundation for truth and liberty and hope and justice and salvation, that we would honor you and only lead and allow you to lead first. And stop relying on ourselves and only truly rely on you, which is all we should be doing, putting in the work and relying on you, and you clear the way for us and light that path, which you always do, and I'm living testimony to. God, all my success comes from you. I'm living proof of it. You've already produced miracles in my own life. I've shown it to the world for 20 years. And if there's not proof in that, I don't know what is, because, you know, I shouldn't be sitting here. And I hope the people that tune in use this as motivation, that, you know, nothing is impossible and they can achieve all the things that they want to achieve too, to your will. And that as long as they lead with faith and allow you to clear the path before them and change maybe their habits and daily action sets, and become strengthened and courageous through you, which we can only get through Christ, that all that is possible. And as somebody with the platform here to share that message, I hope that I share the message, and I call on the Holy Spirit and the Father and Jesus Christ, the King, to share that with as many people as possible, that they would share and like it and get it out. In trying times, during end times, during massive censorship, during complete vitriol, during hyperinflation, economic collapse, World War III, the list goes on and on. But again, that's not our world, because we aren't of this world. We're only of the kingdom of God, and we're not playing for the world. We're playing within your realm. We're playing for you. We're playing to the guaranteed win in 1000x, which only comes through God, and only comes, of course, through Jesus Christ. Amen. I love you all. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a blessed day. It's absolutely gorgeous in Bali. Booyah. If you haven't already watched my video, the helicopter tour, we took all over this beautiful island as we hunt for real estate and our international diversification now. Just awesome, man. Just sick. Go watch it. It's just fun. You get to see a lot maybe from the air that you haven't seen before, especially if you've never visited. It was an incredible experience. I'm eternally grateful. I love all you tuning in. I'm rooting for all of you. You guys are all butt kickers. And again, stop playing in a system where the odds are rigged against you. Get out of that system, but with your mind, your spirit, your wallets, and your faith, and play a whole different game. Because again, the truth and the secret and the key to winning, not just in this life, but in the afterlife, which is eternal, is playing in the arena of God. not of the current system where everyone thinks that's what they should be doing. Again, if I listened to the world, I wouldn't be where I was currently. And I'm just using myself as an example. But if I listened to what anyone had told me in the last 20 years, I would not currently be standing where I'm at. I'd probably be miserable behind a desk job, making no money, fat, and wishing that I would have lived my best life. But I actually did, like quite literally, I can say this truthfully and honestly, the exact opposite of what the world told me I should do. And it's always been my greatest strength, and it's what's made me a millionaire. It established the multi-billion-dollar project, islandproject.com. It's what unified my entire family, people like my father that are now huge spearheads into the movement, business leaders, amazing members, investors, uniting countries under the spirit of liberty and freedom, man. I mean, again, that could only be done through faith, and that could only be done through the Spirit of God. So the proof is in the pudding. And I encourage you to take that action today and onboard. We've had a dozen of you or more on board in recent days, all the way up to 1,000 units, $1 million. We just had 2 new individuals on board 1,000 units and upgrade into various tiers to schedule their bookings, of course, for the use and some time of all of our hosts of exclusive properties, which I encourage you to call my dad and actually go through everything we currently own. Go through it. Go through the pro forma. I mean, guys, we own a real portfolio. So while you're buying crap cryptos backed by nothing on their way to zero, you could actually own real estate with us that you can use, that you get capital gains, that has liquidity, cash flows, use, community, and that's going to be tokenized. And you can take that in your private keys and wallet and take it anywhere in the world. Plus just become part of the Freedom Fighter Network, which is pretty dope, which I don't see a lot of other solutions out there. So let me know if you do. You see any other solutions out there, I want to know who those people are so we can unite with them as well as we continue as the leaders and fire of freedom and liberty, and we build out worldwide. So like seriously, let me know. Let me know who also has come up with the solution, but not just that, not just an idea, who's actually already built it, who actually has something to bring to the solution of freedom, America, and saving the greatest country on earth. We are the founding fathers. We are the sole Navy SEAL team for Jesus Christ and more. And we're absolutely just destroying it, killing it, taking no prisoners. We've already proved the impossible. And we've already seen the miracle worker at work because it's already been built. And now, as we expand internationally, I can't even imagine how big this is going to be another year from now. So get in before we close the founders round, tokenize, and you'll miss out on that opportunity forever. And make your first $1 million this year. Make a commitment to yourself and write it on paper. Christopher Greene said, I'm going to make $1 million this year. Now, financial advice, can't guarantee it, but change your mindset, and you will. I told you the story, but I wrote my first $1 million check, put it in my wallet long before I had $1 million. Then I wrote a check for $100 million, cash that. Now my check's even bigger. You got to put this stuff to paper. People like Jim Carrey did this too, man. I think he wrote one for like 10 million, and then he finally, when he was like homeless, and then he finally got his big deal and became famous and, you know, cashed the 10 million and then cashed, you know, tens of millions of dollars more. Again, money isn't real. It's all created by the central bank. It's backed by nothing. It's fluid and abundant and endless. It's not even worth anything. The only thing that's worth anything is the real estate behind me, islandproject.com, gold, silver, real assets, commodities, your mindset, your skill sets, and what you think about in your faith. That's the only thing that's real. Governments are just created by men that create a bunch of rules and tell people what to do and, you know, set up certain restrictions and blah, blah, blahs. And that's what you notice when you go to every country too. It's just basically kings in every place that just established rules for the culture and society. Whether or not that's led by a certain belief system or politicking or the financial system that governs their society, largely pretty much all the same. Ruled by men that just made it up while they went along. I mean, seriously, guys, wake up. America, the greatest country in the world, was founded by freedom fighters, founded by revolutionaries that many people disapprove of today. If any of the founding fathers lived today, they'd probably take them out. Like, oh God, that guy's too crazy trying to establish his own 13 colonies. Again, if you truly believe in America, you truly believe in the risk-taking for freedom and liberty, and you want to live your best life, and you want your children and grandchildren to be free, then join us, the new revolutionaries. the new 1776, just like my late great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, Nathaniel Greene, with an E at the end, because I'm related. Second in command of George Washington. These people were the revolutionaries, and we're still standing in front of you right now. Papa John is a revolutionary, a freedom fighter, Christian-led, faith-first, God-fearing man, along with his son, along with my late brother in heaven, along with my entire family. All of us, my members, God first, faith forward, 1776, liberal technology, blockchain, those are freaking Bali, freaking booyah, oh the freak. I love you.